Welcome to Waking the Kraken.
It's a different show.
Made you a mixtape. Here we are.
And here we are.
This is I Made You a Mixtape, episode 2, my playlist this time. So I picked 5 songs out for Wes.
Yeah.
Do you want to just get right into it?
Yeah, let's get to the nitty gritty, man.
All right, so song number 1. Turquoise, Hexagon, Sun by Boards of Canada.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of the feelings that Silent Hill gives me whenever I play through it. And it has a really chill groove with this like super dreamy organ sound. And it like progresses in a way and like they're like varying the production tricks that they use in the song. And like they like change the space that it sounds like an instrument's in. And they'll just keep kind of running the same groove with that organ coming in and out. And I don't know, it's like really like something I've just really been able to listen to a lot. And it's really great for cooking.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the whole Resident Evil thing, Silent Hill. But because I had a similar, except mine came from. It sounds like it's from like a dark movie from like the late '90s, or like the early 2000s for me. It felt like something that I would see on like. What's that movie? Requiem for a Dream, or like Donnie Darko, or just like I just kept getting this whole instance of like someone having flashbacks in their minds. The thing that I really liked, I think the one thing that really caught me in the song that I really liked, was that you could hear vocals, but it sounded like it was through water, almost like someone was playing a VCR in water, and like you were just kind of catching just little glimpses of what someone was saying. I thought that was really cool, and I thought that the whole song actually to me in general kind of sounded like something that RJD2 mixed with like Chillwave, like if those two just crashed in a head-on collision.
Right.
Sounds like. I mean, they had a lot of like the drum beats and the scale progressions that RJD2 does.
Totally.
But in a really, really melodic way.
Yeah. I don't know. I've really been into Boards of Canada for a while, but this particular track just like really hits me right. The drums too are like, it's basically the same loop the whole time, but like it doesn't get old because the drums are just so intricate and interesting sounding. Yeah,
and it's definitely for me, it's one of those like songs that like I could listen to while I was driving or anything of that nature.
Yeah. Dude, it like makes a rainy day feel super dramatic.
Yeah, it's just something that's like a great background music while you're doing something, I feel like.
Yeah. So number 2 was Lucky You by Eminem and Joyner Lucas.
This is the one that I'm most scared of talking about.
Yeah.
Because anytime anyone says anything about Eminem always makes a diss track about them later.
That's true. If only.
If we can get a diss track, that might be really cool.
Yeah, that might be sweet.
We'll put it on our next mixtape.
Yeah. But the reason I like this song is because Joyner Lucas and Eminem share that like same like really intricate fast rap and clever rhyming kind of style. Like they're not just, and they both are really good at like shaking up the groove and like the rhythm at which they rhyme. And so it's like every verse is a little different than the last one, and like they're going for a different feel or groove each time, which I really like.
I thought it sounded like an intro to the show Atlanta.
Yeah, right.
Like it started off with that like bass that was really, really cool, and honestly that was probably one of the best bass lines that I'd heard in an Eminem song in a long time.
Yeah, right.
And so like whenever it started to drop, because it is kind of that newer style bass that you hear a lot of times, and like it's funny that he mentions mumble rap later, but it's the same kind of bass that you hear in mumble rap and everything. And that's where I thought, I was like, oh, this just sounds like it would be an opening to Atlanta. Did he have a chorus in that song? It feels like Eminem always has like a chorus in his song, but it didn't feel like that one had a chorus in it at all.
No, actually,
which made it peculiar feeling for me.
That's something that was kind of, I mean, they had the y'all gotta move, but that's more like a hook.
Yeah, it was just a hook. It didn't, because I mean, like, you know, there's the I'm sorry mama, like, and stuff, and then like there's like,
he didn't actually have any moment where he sang.
Which is what I kept listening to, and by the time like I kept listening intently, by the time that it was over, I was like, "Where's the hook?" Or not the hook. I mean, where's the chorus? Like he always has a chorus.
Yeah.
It was also surprising to me how much Eminem and Mac Lethal sound oddly similar.
Don't they?
It's almost creepy now, because like if I would have just had my eyes closed and didn't know that Eminem had made another album, I would just been like, "Oh, is this the new Mac Lethal album?"
That's fair.
Not that it's a bad thing. I mean, Eminem's a great rapper, and Mac Lethal does wonderful stuff too.
Dude, no kidding. No kidding. So for the third track, I picked the Wozard of Iz by the Avalanches. I just really thought this was just like a beautiful like mashup mixed together. It was really fun. I thought that the rap like fit like oddly perfect with how like dreamy, like kind of fairy tale feeling it was. I don't know, it just like worked really well with that super southern rap accent.
Yeah, this was my favorite track of yours that you picked this week. I really loved how the sampling made it feel like a montage.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it was like a montage in one of those like almost like an 80s clothing video, like if we were getting trained in the 80s and like you have like a VCR. It feels like that, but in an audio sequence. It's almost and I don't think the Avalanche have ever made anything bad. The Avalanches
Not
have
really,
ever made anything
yeah.
bad. I have yet to hear. And was that Danny Brown on there? Like,
I think so.
Because I kept listening to it and I was like that rapper sounds an awful lot like Danny Brown, but I'm not sure if it is Danny Brown. But that'd be really awesome if it is. I know he's done stuff with them before. That's why I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's find out. The internet's a wonderful thing.
That's true.
Rapper on Wozard of Iz.
Well, Alex looks it up. I'm going to say my last point about it. The last point that I had was the thing that made it the most interesting to me personally was it felt like it was from the 70s, but also from the future in an alternate timeline. Like it has this like weird, like obviously very 70s influence, like hooks and like sampling and everything. But then like there's just this pattern that it had in it that made it feel like it was just foreign and strange and from the future.
Yeah. Like it kind of like flows from idea to idea, like without warning.
Yeah.
Like you're just kind of being pulled along by it, which I think is fun. But anyways, Danny Brown.
Was Danny Brown.
It is Danny Brown.
Nailed it.
Yes, good pick out on that one. All right.
Fourth song.
Track 4. This was White Gloves by Khraungbin. Khraungbin's a really cool kind of like jazz rock band, like kind of a fusion that they're doing, where it's just like a bass player, a drummer, and a guitar player, and then like they sing every once in a while or play a keyboard here and there. But I think they're doing something really cool. Like they're kind of using like the 60s, 70s psychedelic rock sound and just like really having a good time. And I thought that this song was really just like nice and dreamy, and I really like the guitar part a lot.
Yeah, I was really drawn in by the bass. The bass reminded me, like, I think I have written down here in my notes, I was like, it sounds half like the Red Hot Chili Peppers Flea, and then also half like a stand-up bass that you'd find in a blues club.
Totally.
Like that's kind of where that whole, it was very cool for me. Like it built a scene for me around in my head when I was just listening to it. And that scene was, I'm at a really cool, like, weird looking cabin in the mountains, and I just flip on a vinyl player and that song's just playing.
Right.
Like, don't care what the album is, I just take one out, put it on, and that's what it's playing.
Yeah.
And that was really cool for me. The other thing that I wrote about it, I really liked the cassette ending, like where it sounds like it's being spun through a cassette.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
I thought
too.
that was a really neat detail just to add on to the, because you never get that at the beginning. It's not like you hear them like flip the tape deck on, I feel like, in the beginning. So almost as if it's just over.
Yeah, no, it's a nice touch. It kind of like it's really hard to end a song in a creative way, because like songs have been ended or have ended for a long time. Like we've always run into that, and so I always really appreciate whenever people can do it in a fresh way.
Yeah, and it was way better than them just kind of like, what is it? You hear a lot now recently where it's just like someone yelling in the background after they're done recording, or they're just like, are we done yet? Or is that a wrap? And like you hear that and you're like, oh, look, I'm in the studio with them and stuff. But I just thought the cassette click was really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so the last track I picked was Mirage by Toro y Moi, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, and
Moi?
this was a guy that we used to listen to a lot whenever he was on the song Jealous?
Yeah.
Or was it Jealous? No, it was Come Alive.
Come Alive.
By Chromeo.
Yeah.
He was the little nerdy, like, trash boy and stuff like that in there, and he's come quite a long way since then.
Yeah. Like I really love this whole album, but I thought this song was just really great. It reminded me a lot of Phil Collins, which is always good.
See, it reminded me of Lionel Richie. I actually have written in my notes here, the intro sounds like a starship made by Lionel Richie.
Yep. That's accurate. Yeah, it's got a really good groove, and I really like the way his voice sounds. Like, he's not like an impressive singer, but like he's also got like a really pleasant sounding voice. which I think just makes them really easy to listen to.
I got a question for you on this song. Did you feel like the vocals were a little bit postponed? Like they were a little bit behind the beat or the melody kind of thing that was going on and stuff?
Yeah.
You got that?
Mm-hmm. Well, they had like a huge amount of reverb on them, which means like they sounded like they were in this huge room, basically, that was bigger than what the rest of the instruments were in. And so they would kind of like float out rather than like hitting right on the beat.
Yeah.
And so they felt behind, but they were consistently behind.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was, because it felt like they were behind, and it wasn't necessarily like a bad thing. It just made me feel like drunk or high, or just like because of some delay. It made me feel like I was catching, like the fact that I was inebriated in some manner and was catching this and being like, oh, now my brain's registering it. It was a weird trick that they played on me, because it's morning and I'm stone cold sober.
Yeah, right.
So
it's definitely the morning.
And so, like, I thought that was really interesting way of approaching. I haven't heard many people go, let's make you feel drunk. Like, I've heard people go, let's make music for drunk people, or let's make music for high people, but I've never heard, let's make music so that people feel like they're drunk when they can't be drunk. Like,
and that's I don't know, this whole, it's a really fun song. I don't know, I really like the feel of like nostalgia and lo-fi, and how like even like old 80s style synths, which this song is basically just.
Oh, it's a super 80s song.
Yeah, like the kind of like return of that as like a particular style is like really fun for me right now. Like I love listening to music that's like got very clear like oral influences, but they're doing something completely fresh with the sounds.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. I think it's kind of like showing how computers have affected the way we write music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were our list of the songs this week. You can find them on the playlist on Spotify. There's a link below if you're listening to this on the audio. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I will send the link to Alex so that you too can find this. Another bit of interesting news that we got this week. We are now on Spotify. I got us onto Spotify finally.
Yes,
after
we're there.
years of trying to get onto Spotify and them being little weirdos.
Yeah, right.
I finally got us onto Spotify.
But hey, we're on there now.
So.
And you know what? It's going to be a good platform since we're using
their music.
Yeah. So you know what? You might as well just listen to us on Spotify, because then the playlist will be right there.
Absolutely.
No diss to anybody else, but seriously.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, goodbye.